So you're thinking about offering a bonus to your employees. Well, today we're going to talk about if that is a smart decision for you and your business. Hey, badass business owners, my name is Tammy and I'm here to help you grow your small business, but more importantly, grow those profits. And if you've been a long time listener or watcher, you know that when I talk about something about 3 times in a row, it means I'm meant to come on here and talk to you. And that is why we are going to talk about employee bonuses today. One of the first things that you need to ask yourself when you're contemplating having an employee bonus is, why do you want one in the first place? A lot of times people want them just because they feel they need to do it, or they need to do it to be able to compete, or they're afraid they're going to lose their employees, whatever the case may be. There's usually a reason, and that's usually the first question I like to start with, because a lot of times what happens is we are tied to a specific person that we want to try to give a bonus to. And when you do that, you set yourself up because you have to ask yourself, if somebody else was in that position, would you give them a bonus as well? Because if the answer is no, you are basically at a place where you really want to figure out how to compensate that employee better, not necessarily creating a bonus structure. Because you need to think about, if you're going to put a bonus structure in place, it's because you believe that position deserves to be part of a bonus situation. And a lot of times that's just not the case when I'm talking to people, is they just are really tying it to one individual. And I want you to think about the big picture. Is this something you're putting in place for that position? The other question that I want you to ask yourself is, are you trying to bribe them with a bonus to get them to stay? Most people, believe it or not, do not stay over money or bonuses. Does it help them to stay and help them not to leave? Absolutely. But people want to feel as if they're part of something and that they're making a difference and that their boss is listening to them. So a lot of times, if they're going to leave you, they're going to leave you regardless if you have a bonus or not. All you've done is you've delayed them leaving you. So if they're going to stay because they only bonus in a certain month or at the end of a quarter, then more than likely, if they're going to leave you, they're going to leave you, but they're just going to wait until you pay them the bonus, and then they're going to say goodbye. So having a bonus as a retention piece isn't always a great thing. Now, I'm not against bonuses. I'm really not. I think that they're a great addition to somebody's compensation package. But in addition to you asking yourself, why do you want to offer a bonus? The next most important question you need to ask yourself is, can you afford it? A lot of times what happens is somebody has not run the math, and we are a channel about knowing your business numbers, right? So when you're giving a bonus to people, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to give up my current profits to be able to do that bonus? Because that's bottom line what it is if you don't have any profits, if your business isn't profitable, you giving a bonus to somebody isn't going to help your profitability, because whatever that number is, whether it's $500 or it's $2,000, it's coming from somewhere. And that means it's coming from your current profits of your business. So think about it that way first, because sometimes people want to give a bonus to people and they're just not profitable, or they're profitable part of the year, but they're not profitable the full year. So how are you going to handle it if you owe a bonus in the months that you typically are not profitable? How are you going to pay that bonus? Are you going to hold that money aside during other portions of the year? Which leads into the next question that I get all the time is, how do I set this bonus up? What does it look like? Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can set up a bonus. And some people like to assign it towards their profitability, that if my business makes X amount of profit, I'm going to pay out X amount of money. Well, that works to a degree, because you also have to keep in mind, how long is that bonus structure going to last? Because let's say you pay out 5% of your profits. Well, if your profits are, say, $20,000 and you're paying out 5%, that's a much different number than if your business was creating $50,000 in profit. That's a lot more money. And a lot of times people don't realize that they probably should put a cap on it. So for example, we're going to pay out 5% of the profits up to $2,000, or give it a number that's attached to it. So this way, those profits don't become endless. They're all going out in bonuses. It's really important you look at that. The other thing is, at what point do you consider yourself to be profitable? Is it after you pay yourself? Because remember, we're trying to get you to pay yourself as an employee doing work in your business. And then the business is profitable, and that's where you pay yourself as a business owner out of the profits of the business. So are you doing it before you get paid? Are you doing it after you get paid? Are you doing it before or after your own owner's draw? Once again, you've got to walk through all of the numbers and asking yourself, Can I pay for it? So asking yourself, hey, I want to have a bonus. That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. But it comes with a list of pros and cons, because a bonus doesn't always keep people, like we talked about earlier, but it can add significantly to the amount of money that you are paying out, because a lot of times that bonus is also going to be taxed. So while you might be giving them a $1,000 bonus, the odds are it's going to be a little bit over that, because of, depending upon your tax laws in your particular area, you may be paying taxes upon that, as well as so might the employee. The other thing is, are you using a bonus to get away from having to give them annual increases? Let's think about it. If I give you a $500 bonus, I don't have to give you a $500 increase. If I give you an increase, that $500 goes year over year, because I start building on top of it. Whereas a lot of people will circumvent that, and they'll just give out a bonus instead of giving an annual raise. Ask your employees, more than likely, they'd probably prefer to have the raise. So if you're using it as a retention thing, sometimes it can backfire on you, because it's not increasing what they make. Now, I get it. Sometimes we think, oh, my person is capped out. I can't pay them more money. You can always pay people more money. You have to increase what it is their responsibilities are. You have to increase the bells and whistles, if you will, on what they give you. So you have to sit down and you have to actually brainstorm with this employee about how they can increase their value so you can increase their wage. So a bonus might work in that case, but a bonus sometimes will not work in it. That's why I always say, please start with the why you want to give the bonus, then work on, do you even have the money? Which leads me to another issue. Sometimes after talking with people, they don't want to give out the bonus. They go, wow, that doesn't make sense for me to do the bonus. That's going to cost me too much money. And I'm like, yeah, you're basically giving up your money to pay these bonuses. But here's the problem. They've already told the employees they're going to do a bonus. And then they don't feel right going back, well, now I got to go back to them and tell them that they're not going to bonus. Well, yeah, so you got to be careful. You don't want to start telling your employees that you're going to be doing a bonus program until you've answered the question about why you want to do it and how is it going to pay for itself. Telling people they're going to have a bonus, now you're going to set them up to be disappointed that they're not getting a bonus. And by the way, a bonus doesn't have to be a huge amount of money. And a lot of times people will hear about people that are getting bonuses with their job for $10,000, $20,000. Well, guess what? Those aren't the kind of bonuses that you're probably going to be giving out in your business. You might be giving out $100 bonuses or $250, $500 bonuses as a way of just to sweeten the pot a little bit, if you will. But it's really important that you do the final piece of a bonus, which is have some metrics and some accountability tied to the bonus. There has to be a why they're getting a bonus, and what do they have to do to get said bonus? You know, what are their expectations? Is it going to be tied to sales? Is it going to be tied to profitability? You know, it's easy to tie it to sales when somebody's in the sales force, so they're doing jobs or they're doing upgrades or upsells or whatever the case may be. It's very different to tie that into sales when you've got an office manager. So how can the office manager add to the sales, add to the profitability? You need to think these things through, because you need to have something to measure them by. You know, if you're going to say, hey, only if the business creates a 25% profit, I'm going to share anything above and beyond that. Okay, one, that's a dangerous statement in case you do jump it. But two, it has to be something that's realistic. Do you think you're going to bonus that way? Do you think there's a shot? If you're currently bonusing at 10% and you're tying it to 25%, guess what? The odds are you're not going to make that 25%. And now you've put a bonus structure out there that they don't even have a shot to make. And you go through the whole year and they never bonus. Are they really going to be enthusiastic about your bonus program? Probably not. So you can also take the bonus and it might be up to $1,000. And it might be quarterly, or it might be that, hey, we only did X amount, so your bonus is only going to be $100 versus the $500. You know, it might be on a sliding scale. But whatever the case may be, you have to have a plan. What does that look like? And it can be very overwhelming. Just all the different things that I'm saying has probably got some of you with your head spinning. Sometimes we overcomplicate the business and we don't need to. You know, if pay your people a good, solid wage for what it is that they do, and always have ways to increase their productivity and increase what you get out of them and give them an annual increase. That's way safer and way easier for people to understand. Don't make your bonus structure so complicated the average person couldn't figure it out. Use the thing. Could a fifth grader figure it out? I've had some people explain their bonus program and my head is spinning and I understand them. And I'm just like, wow, how are you explaining that to the average Joe? And letting them know what that bonus is, because they're going to be confused as heck. Well, you must meet X amount of things. And then on the third Thursday of a Friday at noon, you can have a this. Don't make it any more complicated than it needs to be. If you're going to do a bonus program, tie it into specific metrics that are easy to understand and something that you can share with them on a regular basis and get them excited about, because they're going to get really close to hitting that bonus. I talk to people all the time about these bonuses, and they seem to be a real popular thing right now. And I'm not saying they're a bad thing. I'm just saying they could be a horrible thing for you if you do not think them through. So if you're going to do a bonus, fantastic. But make sure that you know exactly who you're giving it to, that you plan to leave it in place for anybody that leaves, okay, that the new person coming in replacing them, you also want them to have that bonus, okay, and the fact that you have metrics that are tied to it and you know exactly how you're going to do it, and you have the profit to be able to do it. I cannot stress, I'm going to hit it on again, as far as making sure that you want that bonus to live on no matter who's in the position. Because a lot of times, like I said earlier, people are tying it to an individual as opposed to the position. And when they do that and that person leaves, now they've got this bonus structure that's out there. And I can tell you that there's not an HR in the world that's going to encourage you to have a bonus for a specific person and then take it away the minute you do. But some cases you're going to end up taking it away anyways, because you're going to find out it wasn't profitable and you ended up giving out this bonus and it was costing you so much money, you have to stop the bonus program anyways, which is why I'm always saying, make sure you can afford it. So throw a lot of things out there for you today. Hopefully some of this makes sense. And I have a question. Have you ever thought about doing a bonus? Have these been any of the concerns that you have when you're doing it? Feel free to write some comments down in the notes below in the comment section, but don't forget to hit subscribe, hit that like button if you liked what you saw, and don't forget to watch the next video that's going to be popping up here, because we got some more tips for you on growing your sales and profits. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.